Hello, my Bill 5000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another That Chapter. This one is titled, He Didn't Realize His Evil Secret Was Caught on Camera. I'm excited. You know what else I'm excited for? The Bill 5000 new merch. Oh, yeah. Boom, bro. Boom, boom. And bro, like the back of it, I don't know if y'all can hold on. That's right. This is a badass little shirt. If you want one, you can get one over at the Bill 5000 merch store right now. Up live. Boom. It's nice. All right. I'm excited to get into this story. If you guys are excited as I am, go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cup with something special. Let's get intrigued. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video,
Mike.
folks, I am taking you to the magical place that is Kingston upon Hull, if you can believe that, because there, a monster was prowling. That's not the best reason. Sorry, Kingston upon Hull. See, this lad had kind of been up to no good for a while, like in the worst possible way. You know, one of those trench coat type fellas. But then, it's an escalator that just...
There's a few different kind of trench coat type fellers there, Mike. Is he the trench coat type of feller that has, like, you know, he walks up to you and he opens up and there's watches on the inside? Is he the trench coat type of feller that walks up to you, opens it up and there's no watches, there's just like his penis? Or is the type of trench coat person that just wears one because he thinks he's a cowboy? Or is he the trench coat type of person that carries a gun underneath of it? See, there's so many different kinds of trench coat people. We need some specificisms, Mike.
kept on going up because in 2019 a philosophy student at the University of Hull was just trying to go home. He would say he had a problem controlling his urges, you know what I mean? I would say if you got those kind of urges, you're the problem. Please subscribe to see new true crime videos every week. Now, let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go, Mike.
So, Kingston upon Hull, or just Hull, it's a hell of a place.
Okay.
It sits in the northeast of England, and it's home to several major museums, galleries, monuments, all that kind of stuff, if that's the kind of stuff you be into. It's an artistic city.
Honestly, I've not really been to a whole lot of places like that, but I do find them interesting. I just can't say that I am the type of person that wants to go to a museum. Maybe if there was like a bunch of different kinds of museums, like I do like some art, but I really love dinosaurs. If there's a dinosaur museum, I'm in. I like the dinosaur museums. Them big old bones all put together with them pipe cleaners and whatnot.
A city of poets, musicians, festivals, and usually with that, or that is because of, there's a university there too. The University of Hull? Pretty good school. And you know, the city, 250,000 people call it home. The crime rate in Hull? Not great, not terrible. Most recently, it's been ranked as the 17th most dangerous place in all of England and Wales, with the most affected areas being the city centre. Downtown Hull, and wouldn't you just love it? But we're not exactly going to downtown Hull. We're going like just a bit north of there, to a bar/nightclub called The Welly. It's just a wee bit north of city centre in a fairly residential area. Called The Welly because it's on Wellington Lane. The more you know.
I thought it was maybe because it was like built on top of like an old well or some shit. That would be even cooler. I'd go with what I said. It sounds better.
It was an ancient well, where all of the townspeople would come up to it, and they would make their wishes. What they didn't know was there was a witch in the bottom of the well, and every time one of them made a wish and the wish came true, the witch would grow more powerful. And then she busted up and built this place. And now it's a bar.
That's the lore of it. That it would be on the back of every menu. You want a cheeseburger and you're sitting there waiting on your cheeseburger to get there because it's made fresh. You're reading the back of that menu and you're figuring it out.
It's a good spot, lots of bands playing there, banging out a few tunes, though the reviews are kind of mid to good mid. A whopping £6 for a beer? In this economy? Getting gouged, lads. The reason I'm talking about the Welly is that in 2019, there was a woman going there. Or attempting to.
Okay.
In 2019, Libby Squire was 21 years of age. Originally, she was from Buckinghamshire in the very southwest of England, but she had moved up north to pursue her degree in philosophy at the University of Hull.
Okay.
The intelligent, fun-loving Libby had moved from her home village of West Wycombe in the September of 2017, leaving behind a younger brother and 2 younger sisters she absolutely doted upon, along with her parents, Lisa and Russell, with whom she was also extremely close. They would text each other every single day, especially her mother. Those two were extra close. Like every second of the day, texting each other. Just a great relationship. Libby was loving the uni life in Hull. She was hitting the books, she was hitting the clubs, and life was just treating her well. Fair play to you. She had her friends. They had recently moved in together to a house along Wellesley Ave, a safe little place you can enjoy.
Was it though?
It was on January 31st that this case begins. It was just, as second semester was about to begin, Libby, she had just spent the Christmas holiday period with her family down south and had just drive back up north. And you know what I mean here? Listen, you haven't seen your friends in about a month. What's the first thing you do? Pub. Classes were due to begin imminently, as in the next day. But you know what? You just gotta get a few scoops in, lad. It's important to get the scoops in. Always. Libby and her friends, they met up, they were shooting the shit, they were having a few sups, and then, they went to a pub, and then after that, you know where they went? Guess where? You don't need to guess, I'm gonna tell you. They went to the Welly. Or they were going to the Welly.
So that's basically doing like
drinks,
a pub
bit of music,
crawl. They got a little start at home, they went to a few other ones, and they end up at the Welly. So they was basically doing their version of a pub crawl, right? Is that what I'm understanding? Is that what I'm taking away from this? I hope so.
Dancing, bit of fun. Libby and her friends were heading there when the bouncer wouldn't let Libby in. Said she was too drunk. Not tonight, pal. Now her friends would say yes, she was drunk, but not bad. Not really that bad. Like they've seen her like this before and it's kind of normal. She was intoxicated, yes. Hammered, messy, no. But still, listen, it's your first night back, you can take it easy, slow your roll. Bouncer wasn't having it though. And so it was wet, it was cold, there was snow on the ground, Libby was going to call it a night. Class in the morning anyways. So Libby's friends, they stuck her in a taxi. And this is, totally normal, right? Take a taxi home, before everybody else get to bed with you. They didn't think twice about it that one of them was leaving early, in a cab. A little bit later, one of Libby's close friends texted her to make sure she got home okay. But Libby didn't respond. Then, just to be sure, maybe she passed out, that's why she didn't respond, the friend texted another housemate. Did you hear Libby come in the door? She hadn't. Her friends then, fair play to them, they did not waste any time at all. It was like about an hour after that, still in the middle of the night. They called the police to report Libby missing. They were getting worried.
Right, so my friend, we put her in taxi to get home, and then now she's gone missing.
Right. Why do you think she's gone missing?
One of our friends was in the house, and she's not got back home.
Right, okay. What's your friend's name?
Libby.
By the morning, Libby still hadn't come home, and that's when the police began the search proper.
Is there anything better than an accent? No, there's not. I wish I had one. I mean, I guess technically to people who have accents to me, I have an accent to them, so I guess technically I do have an accent. It sucks. Not the accent I wanted, but okay.
Oh, I can work with it. I can work with it.
First
Yeah.
light, Friday, February 1st. Initially, she'll turn up. She probably crashed with friends. It's a student town. This probably happens all the time. She'll show up a little bit worse for wear, maybe a little bit of a hangover, but she'll be grand. If she did, I wouldn't be telling you this story. Libby was a hard-working student, and she had class, which she missed. An immediate red flag for studious Libby. Police raised the risk level, immediately. She wouldn't have missed this, therefore something was preventing her from attending. Something not good. Police started searching everywhere, starting at her home on that house on Wellesley Avenue. Last they'd seen, she'd been put in a taxi going home, so they started there. Had she gotten the taxi? Had she even made it that far, though? Had something happened along the way? Her friends had definitely put her in one. What's the little part between A and B? Was there any CCTV which showed her route home? As word spread around town, some students who in fact lived near where Libby did, Wellesley Avenue, said they believed that they did see her the night after the taxi. This was at about 11:40 p.m. She was on the street and she was crying. They offered to help her, but she wasn't having it and walked away. They said she seemed extremely upset, bawling her eyes out, about something. What's the something? I don't know. It was from that tip which led the police to more CCTV. CCTV of who they believed was Libby walking down the road. She was stumbling, swaying, she falls. She was not okay. And where was she going? Now, Libby had struggled with some mental health difficulties growing up, depression, that kind of thing, that resurfaced now. The CCTV footage...
I mean, yeah, it can resurface. She's at university, things are getting a little stressful. She's back with her friends, things are amazing. Maybe she's being conflicted with things in her head, and she got a little too drunk and went into a spiral, bro. Man, I know they're going to end bad. That's why we're watching them on That Chapter and Coffee House Crime, but it still is how bad is it going to get? That's where I'm at anymore. It's not that the fact that it's going to be bad, it's the fact that how bad is it going to be? Usually pretty bad with That Chapter in Coffee House Crime, though.
It kind of just sort of ended. She wasn't really seen on much after.
Right there, she could get hit by a car, bro.
3 days since Libby Squire was
That's
last
awful.
seen, and forensic officers from Humberside Police have spent today at the place where she was last spotted. They collected items of interest as their investigation into the missing 21-year-old student continues. Police say they're extremely concerned for her welfare. Libby Squire's family say her disappearance is very out of character, and they are broken without her. Libby got into a taxi outside the Welly Club in...
See, that is the one really cool thing about places like this, is there is CCTV footage everywhere you pretty well go. It's crazy. And I know that a lot of people's no, that's an invasion of privacy and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I can get on that boat. I can jump on that boat with y'all. It is. But also in situations like this, it is a lifesaver. It is a miracle, and it is a way to be able to catch whoever did the bad shit. Because I have a feeling the poor lady's gone. She's a beautiful young lady. I have a feeling bad things happened to her, and she is dead and gone. But with all this CCTV footage, we can find out where she was, where she went, who got her on the way. It's amazing.
Beverley Road at 11 p.m. on Thursday. Police believe she got out near her home in Wellesley Avenue, just a few minutes up the road. But she was then spotted on CCTV 45 minutes later here at the junction with Hayworth Street. A male driver reportedly saw her sitting on a bench and got out to ask if she was okay. She said she was, and he drove away. What happened next remains a mystery.
First day, the first 24 hours passed with absolutely that many clues about what happened to Libby. And that many is zero. The police did quickly enough actually find that the taxi driver. Sat him down, he yapped away with him, got a statement, and he's like, yeah, I dropped her home. I dropped her outside her house on Wellesley Avenue. During the drive home, she seemed like maybe she's a little bit upset. But yeah, she got out. He went on his merry way. you dropped out at that house. So why had you walked away from it? For some reason, Libby hadn't gone in and walked back the way she'd came. Maybe she was determined to give that bouncer a piece of her mind. But where had she actually gone? Because she didn't make it there either. Now, they were kind of sorta able to narrow down a likely route she would have taken, not by where she was seen. And there's CCTV kind of a lot of places. It's pretty common in the town of Hull. They were able to narrow down where she'd gone, not by where she was seen, but by where she wasn't seen. If she wasn't seen on CCTV here or here, she must have taken the route where there was no CCTV. And so along one particular road, they found a homeowner's CCTV. And they saw a car pull up. The car is only partially visible, but it was on the road she most likely would have been on, as she wasn't seen on the CCTV of the other roads. The police were using the process of elimination to determine where she had gone. So a car pulls up, and maybe the driver must have seen something, or maybe done something, but this was at the time she must have taken this route. The driver pulls the car in, gets out, walks down the road, then, after a few minutes, goes back to the car and just sits in it with the door open, like he was waiting for someone. He then gets up again and began walking towards the road Libby was last seen on. It seemed like he was walking after her, and at one point, running after her. Watching this footage, you get the same feeling of like a shark circling its prey.
Yeah.
And then the footage is too grainy.
That is some creepy predator ass shit there, bruh. Damn nation. Damn.
To really make out anything. They start walking together towards this car, they get in it, and they disappear.
This is the road where she was last seen very late last Thursday. But footage obtained by ITV News appears to show suspicious activity on this connecting side street.
Whilst the investigation is being treated as a missing person inquiry, we remain open-minded as to the circumstances surrounding Libby's disappearance.
Yeah.
We have had specialist teams, including detectives, carrying out numerous inquiries, actions and following up leads since the report of Libby's disappearance during the early hours of Friday the 1st of February. Over the last 4 days, we have carried out extensive land and house searches in the area where Libby was last seen in an attempt to find her or find information as to where she may be.
If she's somewhere now, like you're watching this, what would you say to her?
Please come home. We know we love you. All the support. There's over 200 people in there for you. Please come home soon.
Right.
Then another report will come in. Some people who live near a place called Oak Road playing fields, big fields, surprisingly, they said that at around 12:15 a.m. they heard screaming coming from those fields. And those fields are from where she was last seen on CCTV to her house on the opposite side. They initially thought the screaming was foxes, in fact, if you can believe that. Now seeing the news of missing woman, they weren't so sure.
Yeah, okay.
A local CCTV...
I can see that. I can see that. Man. How horrible would you feel thinking that something was just a wild animal and come to find out it was an actual poor lady being like brutally murdered or something? And then you're just like, if I would have, what do you do in that situation? Oh my God. Oh shit.
CCTV in that area also showed what first appeared to be nothing. Then, police noticed headlights in a few of the frames. See, once again, it's like how they tracked down where Libby must have gone. This street had no council, like local government CCTV. It had no security cameras because this road was a dead end. Again, with like where Libby had been walking, this car that Libby had gotten into wasn't seen on any other CCTV, so therefore it must have gone down the one that didn't have CCTV. The one that led to Oak Road playing fields. Neighborhood CCTV seemed to confirm it. Local cameras showed the car coming out from that road 8 minutes later. But as I said, unfortunately, as there was no CCTV down that road, they couldn't exactly tell what had happened. Weirdly enough, hours later, the car was seen going back there. The police followed the car as it drove across town for hours. And eventually, once again, they had a good idea of where this person lived, the driver lived. not because of where the car was seen parking, but by where it wasn't. Via the process of elimination, they thought they knew this guy's home street. Keeping an eye on all cameras in the area, they eventually got an image. Was he the person who had been driving the car that night?
Probably.
Libby Squire has been missing for 8 days. In woodland near to her home, the search goes on, as it has done every day. But still, there's no sign of the missing 21-year-old.
The time of the screams, the CCTV, the driving all around, the police began to feel like they had a good idea of the exact timeline of what had happened. Just 2 problems. 1, no real idea of where this guy lived. And 2, where was Libby? A search of the park turned up nothing. However, the river hull ran through the park. It's possible she was placed in the river and washed away. So, was there a predator in town? Yeah. In fact, shockingly, there was. There had been a few reports going back weeks and months of, one of them sick bastards going around town. A number of calls have been made like this.
My housemate lives on the bottom floor. Her light was on and she turned it off to get into bed, and she's caught a man looking in. So she's gone out to see what he wanted, and he ran off.
Or this.
Police, what's your emergency?
I think there's a peeping from outside my house. I think he's gone now, but he was just staring at me. I heard the rustling outside and I looked at the window and then I saw him. He just stared at me for a good couple of seconds.
Young female students walking home one night had seen a guy standing in the corner of the street, beaten off. He chased them, and then when...
So he's one of those trench coat peoples. I told you there was different levels of trench coat peoples. It's like, no. He's one of those that woke up and there's no watches, there's no clothes, there's just penis. Oh, fuck. Okay.
They ran in, he fucking busted on the door. This sick bastard. Also looking in the window. Burglaries.
So he was putting one in the spank bank. Someone sees him. He chases after them and he gets to the door. And as they close the door, he gets off on the door.
Sex toys and underwear were stolen. The latest report on this mysterious wanker had been on February 1st, hours after Libby had last been seen.
The CCTV shows the date, the 1st of February, and the time just seconds after midnight. A person is seen on the opposite side of the car and opens the front passenger door. It's difficult to see what happens, but it appears someone or something is put inside. Seconds later, the man reappears on this side of the car, gets into the driver's seat, puts the headlights on and reverses before driving off at around 8 minutes after midnight.
So, having a fair idea of the street this guy lived on, again via the process of elimination, police walked down it, found his house via his car. That's where they found Pawel Relowicz and his wife and 2 kids.
Really?
Perfectly normal family. He was taken in. Pawel was originally from Poland. He'd been living in the UK for about 7 years by 2019, and he was 24 years of age. He was from a small village in central Poland, and now was working in Hull as a butcher, married with 2 small kids, the younger only a few months old. His wife never had any concerns about him. Maybe he was one of them odd ones. Nope, not at all. Friends and colleagues would say he was good. Yeah, it was great. They all got on really well. He wasn't like one of those weirdo loner types. He did work as a butcher at a meat factory, which people said he didn't really seem, it was kind of odd he had that as a job. Because he just didn't seem like the kind of butchery type. But hey, we do know he loved to beat meat. Had never been in trouble before.
That was a good one.
If you could give me your
That
full
was
name,
a
please.
good one. That
Pawel
was a good one.
When questioned, Pawel's story was this.
So my next question is very simple. Are you responsible for kidnapping Libby Squire?
Czy jest pan odpowiedzialny za porwanie Libby Squire?
Yeah.
No.
Explain to me any involvement or knowledge you have about the disappearance of Libby Squire.
Ja mogę powiedzieć wszystko tak, jak było od początku.
I can only tell you how things happened from the beginning.
Zostawiłem sobie samochód na tej ulicy, gdzie tam mówiłem wtedy.
I parked my car on that street, Hayworth, I think.
He said he had gone for one of them good old jogs in the middle of the night and bumped into Libby as she was running. Randomly. He said she was bawling her eyes out and she asked him to drive her home. And Pawel, just being a really swell guy, he's like, I got you. So they got in his car and he was going to drive her home, but during this drive, which must have been 2 minutes, he said she started dry heaving. He said, get the hell out of my car. He kicked her out. He went to check if she was okay. She said she was fine. She walked off. He never saw her again. End of story. Just, trying to be a good guy over here. So why did he have these little small scratches on his face then? When asked, his wife said they weren't there before. Now, he had told his wife he had gotten them from working on his car. He told the police something else.
Ja noszę okulary cały czas, nie?
I wear glasses all the time, you know? Okay.
I ja noszę tak, no z synem to się zawsze wygłupiam, nie?
And with my son I would always
Zawsze
play
mi okulary tam gdzieś rzuci, czy coś.
foolish games and he would always throw my glasses somewhere.
Seizing his car, they found in the trunk a bag filled with sex toys, underwear, and photos of women. Searching his home, they found a drone. He had been using it to scope out more victims of his burglarizing, peeping Tom wankin' ways. He also would have known the park where it's believed Libby would have been taken pretty well. Pawel was quickly determined to be the mysterious wanker of Hull. DNA found at the scene matched him, so they quickly nailed him as a sexual predator. Along with women's underwear found hidden in his home. But beyond that, and more importantly, what happened to
Man, she's not a good old lady. Like, my old lady knows where everything in this house is. She wasn't snooping enough. Yeah, I don't trust her. What's wrong with you? How you gonna be someone's old lady and not be snooping through everything all the time? How else you gonna call people out on their shit?
Libby? They didn't know. The other offenses, though, led to him being kept in custody. He was charged with those peeping Tom crimes and the rest, but not with Libby's fate.
Damn.
In fact, 7 weeks would pass before anything would be really found at all. It was on March 20th that a fisherman in the Humber estuary made a discovery. It was human remains. It was Libby. It did appear that she...
Does that water lead to where he's at? Like, wherever he took her to that park, does that water feed that, or does the... Could she have got there like that? Is that possible? Words hard sometimes. Nah. Does the park where she was dumped that had the water in it where they were searching, does that feed into this other water, or does other water feed into it at some point or another? Is it like a spillway of sorts?
She'd been dumped in the river after being killed, and her body had washed out almost to the North Sea. However, the remains were so badly decomposed, it was identified as Libby, but what had happened, cause of death, it was unable to be determined. It was a huge relief to her family, her friends, and the community that she'd finally been found. She'd come home.
Not the way anyone wanted, but yes.
They say this is a hugely distressing time for her family and a very difficult time for all those who've been involved in the investigation over the last 7 weeks. At the place where she was last seen tonight, people have already begun to pay their respects. Police say their priority now is getting answers for Libby's family that they so desperately need.
Beautiful young lady's life taken too fast.
But now the wheels of justice have to start cranking up.
Too early.
Pawel was very used to cranking. The case against him for the various offences I'm talking, the voyeurism, the burglaries, the peeping Tom, all of that was going to go ahead. And the police were building that up and building it up and very determined to nail him on all of those predatory, sick bastard crimes, essentially. Yeah. See, that was especially important because although they had no evidence he had murdered Libby, those crimes could show what kind of guy he was. It's called bad character evidence, that if enough evidence can be built up and proven of what kind of person this is, it can be admissible in a trial regarding a separate issue. Facing 13 charges, he did plead guilty to some, saying he couldn't control his urges, yada yada yada. I'm a victim of my own body, what can I say? He got 8 years, and appeal reduced it to 5. Must have been a hell of an appeal. Now, a lot of this could be used for the Libby case, and his DNA was in fact found on Libby's remains. And so it's, all of this, the DNA, the escalation, the CCTV, her body ending up in the river. Well, hey, prosecution putting all that together, you got a fire going.
I must say that you are under arrest for the murder, rape of Libby Squire in Hull on Friday the 1st of February 2019.
Muszę pana poinformować, że zostaje pan oskarżony w tej chwili za zabójstwo i zgwałt.
He understood. He understood just fine. You could see it on his face. I don't know why you speaking that back to him in his original language. He knew what he said. There's no doubt in my mind. He knew and understood every word. I get it though. You have the interpreter there to make sure he do understand. Not, oh, I'm not from here. I not understand the word type shit. I get it, but he fucking stood. You could see the look in his fucking eyes and the little half-ass stupid-ass grin on his little bitch-ass face that needs to be smacked off there. Fucking trash-ass motherfucker.
Libby Squire dnia 1 lutego 2019 roku w Hull. It's impossible.
To jest ja nic nie zrobiłem, to jest 100%.
What I mean is, I haven't done anything. This is 100% sure. I would have never killed a human being.
He was charged with the rape and murder of Libby Squire. His trial took place in January 2021, and it lasted over a month. Pawel denied the charges, claiming to have been a good Samaritan, just tried to drive her home, nothing more. And they did have sex that night, but it was consensual. The prosecution said he preyed on her. He was found guilty on all charges, and he was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 27 years.
Fuck that piece of shit, bro.
Pawel Relowicz, who'd been preying on students near the University of Hull for 18 months. His offending was so brazen, the police were able to find him on CCTV performing a sex act in the road.
But despite committing at least 9 offences in a small area, the students he was targeting were never warned someone was prowling these streets.
That's the bullshit
He can be
part.
seen stalking Libby, who was drunk, in distress, and probably hypothermic. Within minutes, she was in his car.
In prison, he sent his wife a letter. A very, sweet stuff. Now, this might shock you, but his wife ditched his ass pretty soon after he was arrested. But he sent one of them, just want you back, babe, type letters. In the letter, he never mentioned Libby. He just begs her to take him back, saying, guess what? Prison kinda sucks. He asks her if she still loves him. He's a pretty optimistic guy. And finally, he asks her for 70 whole pounds so he can buy a TV. He gotta watch his programs. Here's a quote. I want you to be strong. Love the children and love me. I will return to you. I promise you this. Which, after what he did, sounds like a threat. If he's waiting for a response for this, he'll be waiting a while. And so ends the story of Libby Squire, an incredibly scary and tragic one, an amazing woman, young woman whose life was ended by a predator, a shark who swam the streets of Hull. Always, going just a little bit further. If it wasn't Libby, it would have been something else. And in fact, during the trial, there was plenty of CCTV evidence of showing him driving around town before the murder of Libby, showing him driving around town, looking for young women who were walking home alone. There's one footage where there's a woman walking home alone and his car's driving up beside her, and as soon as she gets off the road where he can't get to her, he just stops the car, just goes off. He was preying on women for a while before he got Libby. I guess it shows the importance of, just nipping things in the bud, but unfortunately the police were unable to identify him for all of the various crimes he'd been doing to terrorize people in the city. Police weren't able to identify him then, but now we can most certainly identify him as a monster and a real piece of shit. Thank you so much for watching. It really means the world to me, as always.
Thank you so much for having me. You know, it's one of the highlights of my day, Mike. Hold on. As good as I can do, Mike. All right. I really enjoyed today's video. Like, it sucked. Like, that poor, beautiful young lady's life taken way too soon. But it's, I really enjoyed it because the dude had been harassing people for so long that it's ridiculous. And instead of putting people out there to patrol the street or anything like, you know, you figured they would, they just waited until he killed someone. You know, that's one way to go about it. All that CCTV footage, and they can pinpoint all the way down to where he lives by, you know, doing their job right. But they can't find someone who's chasing after women, jacking off on doors, doing this out in the street where there's kids, bro. Like, if I'm driving down the road with my kid, I would have got out the car and I would have ripped his penis off and beat him to fuck to death with it. Believe that. All right. I really enjoyed today's video. If you all enjoyed today's video as much as I did, please go down there, leave a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. And while you're down there, if you want, go on over, slap the subscribe button. Become part of the Bill 5000 Nation. We do some crazy shit here. And if you want to know when that crazy shit happens, ding that bell. It might work for you. It might not. I'm pretty sure the bell is fake. But if you do ding it and it does something for you next time I have a premiere, jump in on my premiere, go over onto the live chat and be like, hey, Bill, you gave me a good ding last night. I really enjoyed it. Leave a like and dip. That's all you gotta do. Unless you want to go visit at the merch store and check out some of the new merch that I have up there. This here's the Damn collection. You also have this Demon Slayer collection up there now. Go check it out. Link is in the description. Be good as always. Oh my God. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Outro's gotten so long, I'm starting to forget everything about it. Holy shit.